Steelers Nation, what's going on? You know this team is always working to get better, to perfect the details, and to chase those wins that really mattered down the stretch. And that's exactly why we're here today, to break down a massive update on cornerback Joey Porter Jr., what Mike Tomlin had to say about his status, and also an insider bombshell about Aaron Rodgers' chemistry with one of Pittsburgh's promising young receivers. And trust me, you're going to want to hear all of this. But before we dive in, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button if you're proud to be part of Steelers Nation, and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of our exclusive updates. It really helps us keep building this community and bringing you the news first. The big headline out of Thursday's practice report is this: Joey Porter Jr., who's been nursing a hamstring injury since Week 1 against the Jets, was once again a limited participant. This marks his second straight day of limited work, and while it doesn't guarantee he'll be on the field, it's definitely a step in the right direction. Remember, Porter has already missed 2 games, and this secondary has been trying to adjust without him. Head coach Mike Tomlin actually sounded a bit optimistic earlier in the week, saying both Porter and safety Deshaun Elliott certainly have a chance to suit up on Sunday when the Steelers take on the Vikings in Ireland. Tomlin explained the plan clearly. Participation matters. Not just being on the field, but the quality of those reps. He even compared Porter's situation to what happened with Derek Harmon last week. Healthy enough to dress, but snap count limited. That gives us a pretty good clue as to how the team might handle Porter if he's cleared. He could play, but not at a full workload right away. And let's be real, this defense needs Joey Porter Jr. out there. After making the PFWA All-Rookie team in 2023 and following it up with a strong 2024 season, 70 tackles, an interception, 7 passes defended, the young corner has quickly become one of the pillars of this secondary. Pairing him with veteran Darius Slay has the potential to be a huge difference maker for the Steelers moving forward. Speaking of Slay, Porter recently opened up about just how much he's enjoying learning from the veteran. He admitted that he used to watch Slay's tape growing up, something that made Slay feel a little old, but Joey wasn't shy about giving him his flowers. He said, "He's a great vet. I've had some great vets before him. I'm just happy to have him in the building and keep learning from him." That kind of attitude is exactly what Steelers fans want to hear from a second-year star. He's already talented, but combining that natural skill with wisdom from a guy like Slay, that could take Porter's game to the next level once he's fully healthy. Thursday's practice report gave us a clearer picture of the roster heading into Week 4. Limited participants: Joey Porter Jr., hamstring; Deshaun Elliott, knee; Jaylen Warren, knee, resting vet; and Jonnu Smith, hip, resting vet. Full participants: Darius Slay, rest; Patrick Queen, oblique; Isaac Seumalo, rest. Did not practice: DK Metcalf, hip, rest; Alex Highsmith, ankle; TJ Watt, hip, rest; and Cameron Hayward, hip, rest. So, while some big names were out, it's important to note that a lot of those absences were simply rest days for veterans. Nothing to panic about just yet. The real concern? Highsmith's ankle, because that's the kind of injury that can linger. Now, let's flip over to the offensive side of the ball, because here's where things get spicy. We all know Aaron Rodgers has had a rocky couple of weeks. Against the Patriots, he threw for just 139 yards. And let's be honest, that's not what Steelers fans were hoping for when the team brought in the 4-time MVP. Yes, DK Metcalf and Calvin Austin are still the top weapons, but Rodgers has struggled to find rhythm with his other options. And that's where Steelers insider Ray Fittipaldo dropped a bombshell. He revealed that Rodgers may be having a serious chemistry issue with Roman Wilson. Roman Wilson had a fantastic training camp. Coaches praised him, fans were excited, and he looked like he was ready to carve out a role in this offense. But through 3 games, he's got just 1 catch for 7 yards. That's it. And Rodgers has only targeted him twice. Fittipaldo didn't sugarcoat it either. He said, "It just seems like they are going to ride with Metcalf and Austin. Roman Wilson's probably not going to be a big part of it unless there's an injury. They're going to be focused on the two starters, Jonnu Smith and Pat Freiermuth. That's tough to hear if you're a fan of the rookie. And the chemistry issue isn't new either. Rodgers was reportedly frustrated with Wilson several times during training camp. Timing issues, miscommunication on routes, and just a general lack of connection. So the question becomes, is Roman Wilson really going to be a non-factor this year? It's hard to believe given his talent, but the numbers don't lie. 1 catch in 3 weeks, while Rodgers continues to lean heavily on Metcalf and Austin. This doesn't mean Wilson is a bust, far from it. Sometimes rookies need time, especially when playing with a veteran quarterback who demands perfection. But for now, it looks like Rodgers just doesn't trust him enough to consistently throw his way. And let's be real, Steelers Nation, this offense can't afford wasted weapons. With Rodgers at 41 years old, the window is short. If the Steelers want to maximize this season, every playmaker needs to be on the same page. All eyes now turn to Sunday, when the Steelers face the Vikings in Ireland. What a stage for Rodgers to remind everyone that he still has magic left in that arm. The offensive line will be critical here. Rodgers has taken way too many hits already, and the line needs to keep him clean to let those deep routes develop. If he gets time, Metcalf, Austin, and yes, even Roman Wilson can make plays. But if the line collapses, we could see another rough outing like the one in New England. This game could also be a turning point for Wilson. Maybe Rodgers gives him another chance, maybe they finally connect, and maybe this young receiver starts to prove he can be trusted. Steelers Nation would love nothing more than to see a breakout moment in front of the world. The Steelers are 2-1 to start the 2025 campaign. On paper, that looks solid, but let's be honest. The black and gold could just as easily be 0-3. The offense has sputtered at times, and the defense, outside of some opportunistic plays against the Patriots last week, hasn't looked like the unit we expected. What's more concerning? This defense hasn't put together a complete game yet. Injuries have piled up, especially in the secondary, and that has forced guys into roles they weren't supposed to play. Coming into 2025, the story was that Pittsburgh had revamped their secondary. But here we are 3 weeks in, and it looks more like a patched-together group just trying to survive. Week 1 against the Jets changed everything. Joey Porter Jr. left early with a hamstring issue, and safety Deshaun Elliott went down with a knee injury. Neither has played since. That double blow threw the secondary into chaos.
Because Porter couldn't go at corner, Jalen Ramsey had to spend more time outside instead of playing nickel or sliding to safety. That left Juan Thornhill as the primary free safety, even though the original plan was to rotate him. On paper, it should have worked, but in reality, it's been rough. Team insider Brian Batko dropped a bombshell this week in his Pittsburgh Post-Gazette mailbag. He said it appears Juan Thornhill has already fallen out of favor with the coaching staff. That's a stunning development for a guy who was expected to play a big role this season. Batko pointed to a specific moment, the Week 2 matchup against the Seahawks. The Steelers' secondary got burned on a Yankee concept for the second straight week. Rookie Torrey Horton scored an easy touchdown, and reports say defensive coordinator Terrell Austin was fuming days later. Batko speculates that miscommunication may have been on Thornhill, which would explain the frustration behind closed doors. That mistake, and possibly others, may have put Thornhill in the doghouse, and if you look at the snap counts, the evidence lines up. In Week 1, Thornhill played about 84% of the defensive snaps. In Week 2, he was out there for 100%. But in Week 3 against New England, his workload collapsed, just 39% of the snaps. That's a massive drop, and it doesn't happen by accident. Coaches clearly made a decision to scale him back, and it's not because of injuries elsewhere, it's because they're leaning on other guys. With Deshaun Elliott sidelined, the Steelers turned to Chuck Clark to step into a major role. They also signed Jabril Peppers just a couple of weeks ago, and he was already worked into the rotation in Week 3. That combination, Clark and Peppers, saw more action than Thornhill. And here's the kicker. When Elliott returns, he'll be the starter again, which means Clark or Peppers are far more likely to stay on the field, leaving Thornhill as the odd man out. And let's not forget, if Joey Porter Jr. comes back at corner, Jalen Ramsey may shift back into more nickel and free safety looks. That makes the safety room even more crowded, and Thornhill's path to playing time even narrower. So that's the million-dollar question. Has Juan Thornhill already played his way out of a job in Pittsburgh? The early signs point in that direction. Miscommunication on the back end is the last thing this team can afford, and if coaches believe he's at fault, it's no surprise they're turning to more trusted veterans. Thornhill still provides depth, and that's valuable. In the NFL, you're always one injury away from being back in the lineup, but right now, the coaches are sending a clear message. They don't trust him to be on the field for heavy snaps. This isn't just about one player, it's about the unit as a whole. Pittsburgh has invested heavily in building a defense that can win games. The front seven is stacked with talent. T.J. Watt, Alex Highsmith, Cam Hayward, Patrick Queen. But if the secondary can't hold up, it puts all that star power at risk. Opposing quarterbacks have already exploited the miscommunication issues in the backfield. That's why fixing the safety rotation is critical. If Elliott returns and locks down one spot, and Clark or Pepper step up in the other, this unit has a chance to stabilize. But if confusion lingers, teams will keep taking advantage. Week 4 brings another huge test as the Steelers travel to Ireland to face the Vikings. And let's be honest, this game could reveal everything we need to know about where Thornhill stands. If Elliott plays, and if Clark and Pepper stay ahead of Thornhill in the rotation, that might confirm he's fallen completely out of favor. If he barely sees the field again, the writing may be on the wall for the rest of the season. On the other hand, injuries happen. Opportunities come out of nowhere in the NFL. Thornhill will need to stay ready because one bad break elsewhere could put him right back into a starting role. So here's where we stand. Joey Porter Jr. is trending in the right direction, but whether he plays and how much he plays is still up in the air. Mike Tomlin and the staff are clearly being cautious, but having him back, even in a limited role, would be a huge boost for this defense. On offense, Aaron Rodgers has to find chemistry beyond DK Metcalf and Calvin Austin. Roman Wilson has the tools, but he hasn't earned Rodgers' trust yet. The insider buzz about their shaky connection is definitely something to keep an eye on. This game in Ireland against the Vikings could be a statement moment for both Porter and Wilson. One trying to get back on the field, the other trying to truly arrive on it. Steelers Nation, I want to hear from you. Do you think Joey Porter Jr. should be eased back in slowly, or do we need him out there right away at full throttle? And what about Roman Wilson? Do you believe he can turn things around and earn Rodgers' trust, or is he destined to be a background piece this season? Drop your thoughts in the comments because this community is always better when we hear from the fans who bleed black and gold. And hey, don't forget, smash that like button if you're fired up for Sunday and hit subscribe so you don't miss any of our Steelers updates. We'll be covering every angle, every storyline, and every exclusive right here. Here we go, Steelers Nation. Here we go.